Padel is the fastest growing racket sport combining the elements of tennis, squash, and badminton, which first originally took off with the Spanish elite. The spread started in large cities as padel courts were being built in clubs that previously only had tennis courts. In just a few decades, padel became one of the most practiced sports in Spain with millions of participants. The sport that started as a pastime for the elite transferred into a sport for the country. In 1974, Prince Alfonso de Hohenlohe, founder of the Marbella Club, an exclusive resort club that attracted the international elite, visited Mexico after being invited by Enrique Coursera, a Mexican industrialist who had created a game after looking for a less demanding racket sport. Alfonso took this sport back to the Marbella and perfected it, adding details on the court dimensions, establishing the rules, and building the first two padel courts at the Marbella. Because of the Marbella's exclusive image, padel began to spread throughout the wealthy community. The prince also began to spread the newest racket sport throughout the world of tennis professionals, leading Alfonso and Manolo Santana to build courts throughout the Costa del Sol, further opening padel up to the tennis world. In 1987, the Spanish Padel Association was born at the Moraleja Golf and Country Club in Madrid. This association was created to promote the sport and organize tournaments at the most prestigious Spanish clubs. Then in 1991, the International Padel Federation was founded in Madrid, with Spaniard Julio Alegre Arteaga as its president, creating an international circuit. Just 2 years later, the sport was recognized as a sporting discipline by the Spanish Superior Sports Center, and the following year the Spanish Padel Association was finally recognized. Then, sparking regional-level associations to be found starting in 1992. In less than 10 years, padel took off and spread throughout the country. Now padel is the second highest participation sport after football in Spain and Argentina, with more than 50,000 courts and 10 million participants. A big reason padel was spread throughout the country was Prime Minister Jose Maria Aznar, who played padel regularly throughout his time in political office from 1996 to 2004. It is said that en la época que mandaba y de verdad a enzar se la veía en compañía de poderosos y famosos deportistas practicando su deporte favorito, que no era otro que el padel. He made it so well known to the extent that there was no entrepreneur, newspaper director, or politician who was not fond of this sport. Those who wanted to get close to Anzar took padel courses in order to play with him. As people saw padel as a way to get to the prime minister, the sport that was marketed as elite spread throughout the country as people began to discover what this sport truly was. Padel is less physically demanding and not as dominated by strength than other racket sports, and contributes to more playing time due to the smaller size courts. The sport is also set up for new players to develop quickly and reach rallies faster, which also being a very social sport, as you play with a team and there are 4 people on a smaller size court compared to tennis where there is either 2 or 4 on a bigger area between them. Padel is easier for those of all ages and skill levels, but still has that competitive edge that most people look for when picking up a sport, causing to sweep the nation. Not only was it a good addition for the people of Spain, but for businesses as well. Not only is there a relatively low cost for court construction, but because of the small size, 3 padel courts can be placed in the area where 1 tennis court can be. You can tell from this picture here the small size of the blue padel court compared to the clay courts over here. Then, once put into use, you have about 12 players playing for time rather than a minimum of 2 people playing tennis. This new game paved a profitable market and gave new life to many tennis clubs. Not only are clubs bringing in more money during one use, but because padel can be played at any age, the retention rates are higher than before because they're able to make more diverse community recreational opportunities. A sport that started for the elite transformed into one of the most practiced sports in Spain, regardless of social class, due to the makeup of the game, a game that was established for all people.